Flying with a baby can seem really intimidating, especially before that first flight. So here are 10 things I wish I had have known before flying with my baby. The first thing that made the biggest difference for us is when we were in the airport, we ditched the stroller and just use a baby carrier for the transportation through security and all of that stuff. The reason that we do this is because bringing a stroller just adds like another piece of luggage per se, and you have the baby there, your hands are full, and it's just a little bit more stressful. Having the baby carrier, you put them in there, you're hands free, you can help move the carry-on along, you can grab lunch, you can grab your sweaters, whatever you need to do, you have your hands free, and you have the baby close. Typically the babies are even happier when they're super close to you. I know mine was. And it also, once he started walking, it kept him from being sad or wanting to run away because he saw all these cool things to look at. He was just nice and close and was content to watch as we walked through the airport. The other thing with the baby carrier is that you can wear the baby through security. So this was always nice. We didn't have to worry about taking him out of the stroller and then trying to get him to go through security or going with him or anything. We just had him in the baby carrier. Make sure you don't have a sweater on, but then you can just walk right through security with the baby in there and there's no problems. So the baby carrier made the biggest difference for transportation in the airport for a baby while we were preparing to go on our flight and just kept us all happier. The second thing I actually didn't find out till we were in the security line on our first flight with our baby. And this is that you can bring more than 100 milliliters of liquid or gel if it's for baby and for their food. So I bring water for milk or formula, milk if they're just a toddler and kind of drinking more milk. I bring applesauce, I bring fruits and vegetables, things that you couldn't bring normally for just an adult, you can bring for a baby. I will say about this though that they will check it. So I always put like the sippy cup or the applesauce or whatever to the side, and then they will have to check it separately. So your bag will get flagged and kind of go to the separate thing, but it doesn't contaminate the food. They don't open anything, and it's just a quick check and it always passes and it's good to go. So this made a big difference so that I didn't have to stress about what I was going to feed baby on the plane, if he was going to like the food the plane was giving them. We just had lots of different options, and plus it can be an extra snack for you too as you're going. The third thing that we did that always made such a big difference is we checked our car seat at the counter when we were checking the rest of our luggage. This made it so much easier so that when we were going through the airport, we didn't have one more thing to lug around. Because when you have a baby, having 2 carry-on suitcases for you and your spouse and then your personal items and then the baby, it just adds up to a lot. And so throwing a car seat in there, it just makes it more stressful and you have so many more things to carry through security and carry through the airport. So we always check it at the counter. If you have a stroller, you can also check it there, and then you don't have to worry about those till you reach your final destination. This next one gets so many people because it sounds so good, but something I wish I had known at the beginning is not to board first during pre-boarding. So you know how they have the boarding calls and they're like, pre-boarding, those with small children or infants can board first, the families can board first along with those needing more assistance, etc., etc. We never board during this pre-boarding call and always board last. The reason is the longer you're on the plane, the longer you have to entertain your child. And we always have specific toys or snacks that we've saved for the airplane. But if we're on the airplane 20 minutes longer while we're waiting for everyone to get on the plane, I've already used up like 3 or 4 of my new toys that I have for baby, and then it makes the rest of the flight just longer needlessly. So we always board last, and it cuts off like 20 minutes on the front end of your flight time, and it's just so much easier. You don't have to worry about it. Let them run around the terminal, get their energy out, and then board last right as they're ready to take off. Now, once you're actually on the plane, there's a few things that are helpful to know that just makes your experience so much easier. Make sure your baby sucks something or eats something during takeoff and landing. So I've breastfed my baby, so typically I will nurse them when they're going up and then when we're coming down, and this just helps relieve the ear pressure because, you know, as adults we pop our ears, we yawn, we chew gum or whatever, but babies don't have those tools, and so sucking something, even if it's a soother, a bottle, nursing, or just like eating a snack, helps to relieve their ear pressure so that they're not in pain for the rest of the flight. It's also nice to have them nursing or eating at the beginning because this is usually when the seatbelt sign is on, so you can't get up or move around, so it just keeps baby occupied. But make sure that you do that when you're taking off and when you're landing. The sixth thing I wish I had have known is about changing a diaper on an airplane. So changing a diaper on an airplane can be really intimidating because the spaces were so small. So when you have a baby, you are able to go to the back of the airplane and there is a change table just above the toilet, and it's just kind of usually pulls down. Sometimes there's a sign on the outside of the door that has a little baby changing symbol, or it's typically just above the toilet. This is really good for when they're kind of small babies in their first year, but then once they are older and can kind of walk and move around a little bit more, changing them on this table is hard because it's typically pretty small and it's only for up to like 22 pounds, I think. So what we've done once our toddler can walk, but he's still under 2 years old, is that I just have him stand up and change the diaper that way. This way it keeps baby a little bit more occupied. He kind of just hugs me as I'm doing it, isn't getting into the different things, and I don't have to worry about fitting him on the change table. I will say also about changing a diaper on an airplane is that it can be scary for the baby to lay down on that change table. So my baby got scared of laying down on the change table once he turned 1. Luckily he could also walk, so we just started doing the standing diaper changes, but that's something to just think about, is if your baby's gonna be scared just because they lay down and then it like vibrates with the movement of the plane and things like that. So it's just a little bit more intimidating for them. But standing diaper changes are a great alternative if they're either too big or scared to lay down on the change table at the back of the plane. The seventh thing that really made a difference is just understanding where I can go on a plane to calm my baby. So our baby is a little bit more of a picky sleeper, and so in order to put him to sleep, like for naps or if he's crying or fussy, we typically have to stand up and like bounce him and like rock him. So I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't want to just do this in the aisles of the plane because that blocks people as they're coming and going. So one place that I found that works really well for you and the flight attendants is to go at the back of the plane. Obviously, don't time this when they're like doing in-flight service or anything, but go to the back of the plane and you can just stand either right by the washroom or right at the back, kind of where the flight attendants are, and it has a little bit more space where you can stand up and you can bounce and rock baby. This is also a great alternative if your baby is really whiny or fussy or throwing a tantrum. It takes it a little bit out where the passengers aren't, and you can kind of sit there and calm baby down. When I'm really desperate, I do go into the bathroom. Make sure there's more than one bathroom so you're not like holding anything up, but I do sometimes go into the bathroom to help put baby to sleep where it's quieter or calm them down if they're super fussy. That's just a little controversial, but these are some things that I do to make it so that I know on a plane I have a way to calm my baby down if feeding and toys and entertainment, etc. isn't working. So don't be afraid to use the back of the plane, and if you need anything more, just ask the flight attendants because they're always happy to help. The eighth thing that we do that really has come through trial and error is choosing our seats wisely. So on an airplane, you have these seats, right? There's only two, me and my husband, my baby's a lap infant. So we don't want to be stuck kind of where we're going to have to get in and out a lot for people and bug them. So when we're flying just the two of us, we always choose the aisle seat and the middle seat. This makes it so that we can get in and out easily because we often have to stand up lots with the baby or let them walk or kind of entertain. It's so much easier to be on the end. If there's three of us, if we're flying with one of our grandparents or another family member, then we choose the whole row so that we can have people, but I always like to sit near the aisle or the middle seat so that I'm not bugging people as I'm getting up and sitting down with baby. So just keep that in mind. Choose your seats wisely to make sure that you are going to have the access that you need for baby, but that you're not bugging other passengers. And then the ninth thing that we learned is that on an airplane, lots of airplanes do have bassinets that baby can sleep in if it's an overnight flight or over like 5 hours, I think it is. The only thing about this is that the bassinet can only be fastened on the bulkhead row. So if you want the bassinet, you have to reserve those seats, like you have to pay extra beforehand to reserve the seats in the bulkhead row. Then you have to call the airline and say, I would like a bassinet. They'll put a note, but the bassinet is only given on a first come, first serve basis. So if you're hoping for the bassinet during a red eye or during a long flight, you're going to want to get to the gate as early as you can and let the gate agent know that, hey, I'm here, I would like a bassinet. They can get that all arranged for you and make sure that that's reserved for you. We personally have called a couple of times to get the bassinet reserved for us, but have never actually made it to having the bassinet because we just didn't get there in time and didn't ask the gate agent or didn't do things right. So if you're wanting the bassinet, make sure you take the necessary steps to have it reserved for you, ready to go when you get to the gate. Okay, and then this last one really helped my anxiety a lot as a mother. So I used to be so worried when I was flying on a plane if baby got fussy or if they were crying or if they were pushing the seat in front of them too much. I was just like, they're gonna bug the passengers around us. But something I learned is that people just really don't care as much as they think you do. They don't mind if their seat gets pushed a little bit. They don't mind if there's a little bit of fussing or if baby's crawling over the place. They really don't mind. We've had so many people not only not mind, but also be so nice and fun for our baby. We've had neighbors play peekaboo. We've had kids share toys with them. Flight attendants hold them and play with them. We've had babies across the row. There's a couple babies and they were all playing and crawling together on the ground. So honestly, it's not as big of a deal as you think it is. If baby is crying or fussy or getting in a little bit of people's space, people don't mind and are really happy to just see you there having fun with your family. All right, there you have it. Those are the 10 things I wish I had have known before that first flight with my baby. Honestly, flying with a baby is lots of fun. Traveling with them is lots of fun, but make sure that you do these little things to make your experience a little bit nicer.